WDAY presents.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Barnesville, Minnesota, the site of your WDAY Extra Game of the Week this week, featuring two 3-2 teams, the Barnesville Trojans hosting the Detroit Lakers. I'm Jamal Kennedy, joined by Coach Derek Bakken. Coach, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. It's Friday Night Lights. It's Barnesville, Minnesota. Cool, crisp. Can't get any better than this.
Absolutely. We're just getting set for kickoff. While they do introductions, we'll head to break. And when we come back, we'll have the opening kick from Barnesville, Minnesota. So tune in to the WDAY Extra Game of the Week. All right, welcome back to our WDAY Extra Game of the Week. As you can see, Detroit Lakes getting ready to tee it up. They will kick it off to Barnesville, so that means the Lakers will receive the second half kickoff. I'm joined by Coach Derek Bakken. Coach Bakken, two exciting teams, never played before. What do you expect?
Physicality out of Barnesville. They run a triple option type scheme. They're going to come right after them, try to be the bully in the sandbox. But you know what? Detroit Lakes got a pretty stingy defense. You've only given up 72 points all year. Let's see what happens.
Nick Bubo set to kick it off, and we are underway. Back to return. A little trickeration. Cameron Hain giving it to Braden Bredman. Braden Bredman. Nothing much doing. The Trojan offense will take over just beyond the 15-yard line. So here comes the Trojan offense. They run the power T, and it gives a lot of people problems. Noah Kraus, the quarterback, taking over for Adam Tonsfeld, who's now at Concordia College playing wide receiver. Three backs in the backfield. Kraus under center. And they give up the middle. That's Cameron Hain, his first carry of the night. The challenge tonight, not only for the defense, but for us in the booth, going to be trying to follow the ball. Anybody could get it at any point in time.
Absolutely, and they're going to come right after him. You're just going to take two guys to get the guy down because there's going to be a lead blocker at all times. Like I said, physicality is the key word tonight.
Reed Hefta preaching. They must stick to their assignments. They must stay
gap sound.
Yes, absolutely, as Kraus under center. Going to go to Hang, but he's going to go nowhere. That's Mason Carrier coming down from the linebacker spot to make that tackle. We'll have third down.
That's a heck of a job by Carrier to come down. He stayed gap control sound. He had a great beat on the ball, tracked him right, and now what does it do? Puts him in 3rd and 5, gets him a little off schedule in this type of offense.
Now this Barnesville team will throw a little bit more than usual. Coach Strand telling me on the phone that, Kraus is a capable passer, but let's see what they do here on 3rd and 5. They're going to run it again. Bredman not going to get far as he's tackled for a loss, and that's going to bring up 4th down.
You can see the tight splits. Everybody at home watching, you see those about foot to foot. You're going to have the center, you're going to have the guard. He's going to probably put his toe about in the arch of the other foot. There's not going to be a lot of space for those defenders to be gap sound, trying to attack that edge, and just a great job by that Detroit Lakes linebacking crew. Like I said, stingy defense, and they're really playing downhill, and that's exactly what Coach wants to see on that side of the ball.
So as the Trojans get set to punt it away, it looks like we'll get an early look at this Barnesville defense, a group that really Coach Strand is confident in coming into tonight playing against these Lakers. As the punt is away, he's going to let it bounce. That's Christian Solberg letting it bounce. A favorable bounce for the Lakers. Just shy of the 50-yard line, and that is where Detroit Lakes will take over the offense for the Lakers, led by Bradley Swears, a senior. Coach Hefta calls. He said everything you could ask of a leader, that's what he does. He can distribute the ball. He makes plays. He knows where guys are supposed to be, and he's got a back in the backfield next to him, Mr. Solberg, who can do it all as well.
Exactly what a coach wants. Another coach on the field, a guy that he can trust.
Swears under center. I formation. Handoff goes to Solberg. He's not going to get very far. And on the tackle, Caden Zinzen. You'll hear his name a lot, folks. Whether it's this week or this year or
in the future in college.
In the future, absolutely. The Bison commit, but they're actually going to give the tackle to Robidoux. Johnny Robidoux, another player Coach Strand is very high on. He said we'll also be calling his name tonight, so let's see what we got. Swears back under center. The toss to Solberg. That's actually a pass. And he's got a man. Ty Jones. Jones free down the sideline. Going to get tackled at the 10-yard line. We got some trickeration early on here. Looked like the Lakers wasted no time.
Well, and they're pulling out all the stops, and they want to keep that defense a little bit out of sorts a little bit, and they really did that on that. Everybody was flying to the ball on the pitch. He pulls up and uncorks it, and a big gain.
Coach Hefta not playing when he said Mr. Solberg can do it all. There he is on the pass. Swears under center, going to hand it off. Solberg will run it this time. He breaks a tackle before he's finally brought down. Bredman on the tackle there for the Trojans.
And not scared to run it up the middle, not scared to take a shot, but as he took that shot, he kept moving forward, and that's exactly what you want. When you run that thing in between the tackles, you need to bring physicality, and Detroit Lakes has brought that tonight.
The Trojans know that the Lakers want to run the ball. Obviously, the assignment will be, can they stymie that offensive line there? Handoff going up the middle. Mason Carrier just barrels his way into the end zone, and that's our first score of the night. Mason Carrier carrying this one for 6.
Giving it to the fullback, and give that offensive line credit. They had a hole for him. He ran through almost untouched. Arm tackles aren't going to bring that kid down.
Detroit Lakes striking early in this one.
It's playing out exactly how Coach wanted it to play for Detroit Lakes. Turn them over on downs, force them to punt, come back, and strike first.
And it looks like the Lakers are set up to go for 2. And now Swears goes out left, and that's Caden Yelanimi. We've got a flag on the play. They like to do this a lot. I talked to Coach Hefta about it, lining up in these funky formations after they score touchdowns. He said it just gives another look, and it's also a fun thing to do.
You go from an I-back formation to an empty backfield. That's going to throw the defense again. A little bit of chaos, make the kids think on the other side of the ball. Try to get that 12th man playing for you. Get that person in their heads thinking.
And they've been pretty successful out of it. Sometimes the center just snaps and throws the ball as Swears goes out left again. Yelanimi giving a sign. Carrier in motion. And it's going to be Yelanimi up the middle. And Yelanimi, is he in?
He got in.
They're going to give it to him. And that's going to be an 8-0 lead for Detroit Lakes here with 8:34 left. The Lakers striking early in this one tonight. Just a handful of plays highlighted by a Christian Solberg pass out of the backfield to Ty Jones.
One big explosive play. The rest of it was, call it what it was, ground and pound. They weren't scared to bring the physicality to them, other than, like you said, one explosive trickeration type play.
Let's see what the Barnesville offense can put together coming out for their second drive. One thing that Coach Strand stressed is that he wants to be able to control the ball, and he doesn't want any turnovers. And there are 2 losses this year by a combined 4 points, might I add. And one of them, they turned the ball over 5 times. So he believes if they can hold on to the ball, they've got a good chance to win this game.
And that's every coach in the United States. Everybody you got to have ball control. You cannot afford to give that other team extra possessions.
The Lakers teeing it up here, preparing to kick it off. Signaling his teammates. And there it is. Hang this time on the return. Hang. Going to be tackled just past the 25.
Number 29, Cameron Hay.
And here come the Trojan offense. 3 and out their first possession. A couple of runs, 3 runs, as a matter of fact. Not a lot of yards, but they can ground and pound it. Several carriers with more than 300 yards rushing on the year. As they line up in that power T, Kraus under center. Gonna give it up the middle. It's gonna be John Roller, the fullback.
Tackle on the play by the Lakers, number
They picked up 6 yards on that, but that was a good job by the linebackers on play side of the ball to stay home because, like you said, trickeration's coming. You got a quarterback that's either going to give or keep, and then he's trailing. He's trailing that lead blocker to the other side, so that was a great job.
Kraus back under center. Going to fake it this time and keep it, but he's not getting very far before he's brought down. So that's going to bring up third down. It's going to be third and long.
Lakers number 59,
Brock Okeson on the tackle.
Yeah, I mean, he did a heck of a job. He came up and filled his gap. He didn't get fooled by any of the movement. He just knew what gap control he had and where to play downhill to.
So far, so good for this Lakers defense. They're playing very disciplined, which was a key coming into this one. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to be disciplined. 3rd and 6. Trojans. Kraus going to back to pass. He's got a man downfield. Wide open. Cameron Hang. 20-15, 10-5. Pay dirt. And the Trojans strike back. How about that?
Heck of a play on a, you could almost want to call that broken coverage, but it wasn't. You had 11 guys that eyes were in the backfield, not looking for that pass to be coming out of the quarterback's hands.
Fireworks early on in this one. Noah Kraus finds Cameron Hang for his 7th touchdown of the year, and it is now an 8-6 game.
And a heck of a job by Coach Strand to dial up that play, because now what it's going to do, it's going to make that Detroit Lakes defense be more honest, because right now they were packing 9, 10, even 11 guys in the box. You can't let that vertical route get you on a seam route.
Not even a minute and a half of game time later, and the Trojans find the end zone, and they line up to go for 2. Kraus going to give it to Hang, but he's going to be swarmed and gang tackled. First person there is going to be Gavin Smith. So that's going to keep it at 8-6. We've got a great one to kick this one off.
It's a really good one. The physicality, like we talked at the beginning of the show, it's there. The pad level is good on both sides of the defensive lines. They're staying low. They're not getting run over. They're attacking. Both defenses are attacking. The only thing that got them, let's call it what it was, 2 out of characteristic plays.
Hang just running free out of the backfield, up the middle of the field. Their big money guy is Zinzin. He's averaging almost 30 yards a catch, but this time it's Hang with the big play for the Trojans.
Those safeties are only playing about 7 to 8 yards off the ball, so they're crowding the line of scrimmage per se as a safety does, and you know the eyes are on Zinzin. So for him to get loose like that and for that quarterback to be able to put it in his hands was a heck of a play.
Now the Trojans preparing to kick the ball off. See if the defense can come out and get a stop. Put their offense back on the field. This is a matchup, folks, between a 4A school and a 2A school. Barnesville obviously the smaller of the two. But that doesn't mean that the competition will have a gap in it. Coach Strand fully expects his players to participate and to compete at a high level tonight. And so far, they're doing just that.
And Coach Strand's known for that. These kids will play for him. He's a great coach, and these kids will come out and play. Detroit Lakes, not a first-half team, but they've become a first-half scoring machine right now.
And there is Christian Solberg on the return. Gets just past the 30-yard line before he's brought down. Pretty good starting position for this Detroit Lakes offense.
He's tackled on the play by the choice number 2, Dawson Gregg.
Another key in this game tonight is that if the Lakers have to pass the ball a lot, it's because, well, Barnesville has a very stout defense. They've only given up on the season about 216 total rushing yards, not just per game, but that's out of all games. I did the math on it. I had to use a calculator, but that's about 45 yards per game that they're giving up on the ground. So this defense obviously knows how to stop the run. Let's see what the Lakers can do as Swears goes under center. A pass. Complete. Carrier. Mason Carrier.
Quarterback number 2, Bradley Swears' pass is complete.
And Carrier's down on the play. He looks to be fine. Maybe just got his leg caught up in the grass.
And that was a good play call. They run that flood route like that. You've got 3 guys out in to receive a pass. Only 2 guys can cover. You got a safety and you got a linebacker.
It's gonna make it 2nd down and short. Again, Swears coming out. under center in that I-back formation. Fullback give, and that's going to be a first down. Solberg moving the chains.
By number 24, Christian Solberg.
The Lakers offense having success early on.
Yep, another good job by that offensive line. They're both good lines, but right now Detroit Lakes is just moving them a little more than what Barnesville probably wants to have happen.
And this is an offensive line for the Lakers who's had some makeshifts in the last week. Brock Okeson moving to left tackle because of an injury to Connor Zamzo. He's out with a concussion. And they're also out another lineman, as Swears dropping back, looking to throw and just going to get rid of it. But he has a man, Ty Jones. Jones tackled. He just kept backing up.
And then threw across his body across the field.
He had a pair of Trojans barreling down on him, one of them being Logan Yeski.
I don't think that was a drawn-up play by Detroit Lakes, by the coaching staff, but you know what? It worked.
Again in the I formation as we have 2nd and 3. Swears going to hand it off to Solberg. Solberg breaks through the line. Solberg carrying a pair of Trojans. Just past, just shy of the 35-yard line. Detroit Lakes in Trojan territory yet again. Speaking on that offensive line for Detroit Lakes once again, they're down Connor Zamza, who's out with a concussion, and they're down another lineman who's out with an ACL injury. So really Charlie Zock is stepping into that right guard role. But for so far so good. They're moving this Trojans defensive line. Swears back to pass, looking downfield. Had a man, but just a little too far. The intended receiver, Chuck Kalina. They make it 2nd down and 10.
Welcome to small school, high school football. One guy's out, maybe 2 guys out. You make 3 to 4 adjustments. That's just kind of how it works.
There's obviously confidence that Coach Hefta has in his line. Isaac Caribou being the one who's out with a torn ACL. He did that last week in their game. Swears in the I formation. They give to Mason Carrier. Carrier busting through. Carrier gonna break it for a touchdown. 2 touchdowns on the game already for Mason Carrier, and the Lakers now up by 8. He just breaking a bunch of arm tackles on his way to the end zone.
It was all arm tackles. Nobody brought him down. He ran through them. That's just a tough, sinewy kid, just refused to lose, just running for the end zone. Very uncharacteristic of a Barnesville defense to do that arm tackling either. They're very, very, very technically sound that way.
And how about this start for the Lakers? 2 possessions, 2 scores as they look to line it up for 2. Carrier in motion. Swears looking right, throws. And it's going to be incomplete. So a big stop by the Trojans here to keep it at 8 with 5:13 left to play. The Lakers with a 14-6 lead over Barnesville. Right now, this Barnesville defense searching for any answers they can find on stopping Detroit Lakes. They've only faced, maybe 1 third down so far?
Correct. And you know what? Give Detroit Lakes credit. They're keeping Barnesville's defense off balance, because they're coming out looking for the run. They like to run. They run out of the I formation. Next thing you know, now we got play action pass coming, and they're not scared to throw the ball vertical. So right now, Barnesville's a little bit on their heels defensively.
And Detroit Lakes really has the size advantage if you look at them across the board. But again, Coach Strand believing in his defensive line, believing that he could push those guys around. And he said, hey, I read in the paper that this Detroit Lakes team believes that they could be physical, that they could, move the ball against us. And he said, hey, I was just going to show that to my team as bulletin board material. And so far, the Lakers looking like they are indeed doing exactly whatever they want to do.
And doing it with a makeshift offensive line. That's even a little bit more impressive.
Guys playing out of position. Typically, Okeson plays the guard position, but he's having to play tackle tonight.
The officials have just suspended play because of lightning.
And we have actually a suspension in play because of lightning.
That's an automatic.
So we will be sidelined for 30 minutes. How'd this happen last year, I heard? Maybe it's maybe you're the common denominator, Coach.
No, I wasn't here last year. I can't say.
Oh. So play has been suspended for at least 30 minutes due to a lightning strike as Detroit Lakes leads 14-6 early in the first quarter. 5:13 left to play. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll have some more info for you. You're watching the WDAY Extra Game of the Week. Welcome back to our WDAY Extra Game of the Week. If you're tuning in, we are in a weather delay due to lightning. So far, 4 possessions, 3 touchdowns. Detroit Lakes, 2 scores from Mason Carrier. Barnesville with a big touchdown pass in the first quarter from Noah Kraus to Cameron Hang. Coach, so far these offenses not having trouble moving the ball.
Not at all, and it's a little untypical. I mean, when we see a 14-6 score right now, and I thought maybe we could end the game. 14-6. We came off a 7-0 game last week, so both of these teams are going to go in, regroup. You can see the lightning in the background of the screen, and then we get it on again. It's a little bit upsetting the apple cart, but both these coaches are veterans, and they'll get them ready to play.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. We are in a lightning delay, so we will pass it over to weather. Once again, this is the WDAY Extra Game of the Week. We will be back as soon as play resumes. All right, welcome back to Barnesville High School here in Barnesville, Minnesota for the WDAY Extra Game of the Week. When we left you, we had about 5 minutes to play in the first quarter. Detroit Lakes leading Barnesville 14-6. They are about to re-kick the game back off after an extensive lightning delay, weather delay, that lasted about a little over 35, 40 minutes here. So the Trojans will have the ball, and Coach, we talked about this. Really, this benefits the team maybe that was about to go on offense last.
That's what I would prefer. But again, I'm up in the booth with you, so it might be the wrong choice. But I would prefer that because there you know what you're doing. You're going to dictate it. Personally, I think defensive is a little bit of a flow deal. You kind of get in the groove. You know what's coming. The game slows down for you. So let's see if Barnesville can capitalize on getting this ball back after this, call it what it is, kind of upset the routine a little bit of what a normal high school football game is.
So let's reset the scene for you. Detroit Lakes 2 touchdowns. Mason Carrier 2 touchdown rushes, so he has accounted for both their scores. Barnesville hitting on a long touchdown pass in the first quarter. Cameron Hang on the receiving end of that. That is where we stand. And like the Looney Tunes, we are back in action with the Lakers preparing to kick the ball off to the Trojans. And there we go, back underway. It'll be Hang. Gonna get the carry after a handoff. He's not gonna get very far after colliding with his own man. And look at the Lakers rallying to the ball.
By the Trojan, number 29, Cameron Hang. Tackle on the play with Lakes, number 21.
So here we are, we're back underway. This Barnesville offense looking to get something going. Having a successful drive last time. They're converting on 3rd down and long. That is, of course, the touchdown pass to Hang.
Yeah, we'll see what they're going to come out, and I would venture to guess they're going to keep it on the ground the first play, see where Coach can get into 2nd down, and see if he can get it into something manageable, 2nd and 6, 2nd and 6, 5-4 in that area.
Maybe looking to get into some sort of rhythm as the power T. Kraus going to hand it off, and it's Hang bursting up the middle. Hang to the left. Hang breaks across midfield. He's got 3 Lakers to beat. Solberg pushes him out just shy of the 30-yard line. What a way to kickstart this game again. Cameron Hang. Big gain.
Yeah, and you saw big Travis Ayfield give the old muscle sign going down the field. He knew what he was doing.
And this is exactly what Barnesville wanted to do. They wanted to run the ball, and they get a big gain from Cameron Hang.
Yeah, call it what it was, pin deep. They were pinned deep, and now they aren't. Now they're in positive territory.
This power T now starting to gel together. Kraus going to give it to Hang again. He's brought down. Tackle by Mason Carrier. Flipping the field in one play were the Trojans. And now just outside the red zone.
And you look at that offensive line, they're just leaning on it. It's Gata blocking all the way. They're just moving that defensive line out of the way, letting that running back, letting that quarterback decide, is he going to give or is he going to keep?
That offensive line group led by Johnny Robidoux, the junior. And the handoff goes up the middle. It's going to be Roller. Roller's going to have a first down. The sticks are moved. This is exactly what the Trojans needed coming out of that delay.
Tackle on the play by the Lakers, number 51, Henry Lee. First down.
And that two-point conversion on the previous drive, on the previous score from the Lakers, that could loom huge as Barnesville trails by 8.
You got Wells, Kruger, and Robidoux up in the front there. That pin and pull, they pulled that left side guard, that pin and pull, just opened it up for him to run it right up the middle.
Rouse hands it off. Up the middle is Bradenton. It's Bredman. Excuse me. Got Bradenton, Florida on the mind. Bredman. Bredman makes it first down. And they are on the 10-yard line. Barnesville. This offense set up to explode. Can the Lakers get a stop? Power T, Kraus, hands it off. Roller, rolling into the end zone, untouched for the 10-yard score. And the Trojans now down by 2. That almost looked too easy.
Coach Strand pulled no punches there. He came out with physicality, ran it between the tackles every play. Obviously, they gave the look that they're going to attack the edges, takes 2 or 3 defenders out of the box, and it's big on big.
That drive almost too easy for the Trojan offense coming back out of that delay. And they now trail 14-12 and a 2-point conversion away from tying this thing up.
This is going to be a big 2-point conversion because if they can get this thing tied up, they're back dead even, 0-0 again. That's exactly where Coach Strand wants them.
Trojans huddle up. And now they break. Could bet you $20 are going to be in the power T, and there they are. Kraus. Going to give it to Hang. And Hang, this time, powers his way in, and we are tied at 14. What a drive. 3:18 to play in the first, and it's Barnesville storming on back to equalize. And now let's see what the Lakers will have coming out on offense. Big drive there from the Barnesville Trojans.
4 out of the last 5 drives have resulted in touchdowns, I believe. There's only been 1 forced punt in the game.
Look at the draw here, right? Last week we had a 7-0 game, only 1 score, handful of defensive stops. The couple weeks before that we had a 49-0 blowout. Now it looks like we've got these two teams going and maybe entering a slugfest.
I tell you what, it was 4 chances for me to step on your touchdown call last week. I was shocked a couple of times, but you're going to have to put in for a pay raise. You've made 4 touchdown calls versus only 1 last week. So very exciting. I'm a little bit shocked that this many points has been put up in the first quarter because of what these teams points against, how their defense is, how stingy they are. But if we're going to have a shootout, let's have a shootout.
Absolutely. 2 offenses who know how to put the ball in the end zone. They're showing that early on. Not out of the first quarter yet. We have a combined 28 points, and as Coach mentioned, 4 out of the last drives ending in a touchdown. Caden Zinzen getting ready to kick it off for the Trojans. Solberg back to return alongside Carrier. And it'll be Solberg. Going to take it up the right side. Solberg with a crease. Solberg going to be brought down by Zinzen, but not before he gets to about the 35-yard line, maybe even further. Great starting position for these Lakers.
Yep, that was good blocking by that return team. They had the seam set up for him. A good running back or a good returner is going to take it hash numbers sideline. It's exactly what he did, and they're going to start out in good field position on the 40-yard line.
Swears calling the play to his huddle, and the Lakers break. A lot of this so far. This I formation look. Swears. Gonna give it. Solberg. Gonna get nowhere. He's gonna be wrapped up. And look who it is. Mr. Robidoux. Coach Strand said we would say his name a lot tonight. And he was bursting through the middle. First person there.
Those guys that wear number 54, I'm not biased or anything, but those guys usually are pretty doggone good football players.
It's gonna bring up 2nd down and 9. Toss goes to Carrier. Ethan Carrier this time. And Ethan getting nowhere. And it's going to be a host of Trojans on the tackle, and it's going to be 3rd and long.
That was as much of it we've seen the Barnesville defense swarm. That's what we thought we'd see at the beginning of the game. We didn't quite see it there, but they've really, something happened over this break. They really took it amongst themselves, probably talked amongst themselves and said, we're swarming to the football. This is not going to happen. This isn't us giving up 2 scores.
An irregular offensive drive or a defensive possession for them last time, allowing so many rushing yards. Swears under the shotgun, looking to pass. Oh, he had a man, but that pass is going to be incomplete, and that'll bring up 4th down. This is exactly what they needed, but there's a flag on the play. We'll check this flag. It appears to be against the Lakers, and the Trojans will decline, so that'll bring up 4th down. First forced punt coming up here for Detroit Lakes, or for the Trojan defense, excuse me, a 3-and-out.
Yeah, and that play worked for him a couple series earlier when they ran that flood route to the flats like that, and the quarterback rolls out, manipulates that pocket, and it worked for him. He's just a little off target this time.
A great test for this Barnesville defense to see where they stand against some of these bigger schools, these bigger teams. Coach Strand talking about how this game possibly helps them going further and further into the season. Obviously, don't want to look too far into the playoffs because it's not guaranteed, but as Yelanimi back to punt. And that's going to be hang on the return, but it bounces into the end zone.
The Laker punter, number 36.
And the Trojans will have the ball out on their 20-yard line after the touchback. But Coach Strand saying that this game is sort of like a
20-yard line.
A measuring stick to see where his guys are.
Well, and as a coach, you want to do that. You want to play up. That's what you get your guys to feed off of. Hey, we're David versus Goliath. You know, it's kind of us against them, and that's what you want. And again, it's a measuring stick. You won't want to get too high. You don't want to stay too low. And they've done a fantastic job, and that was a fantastic drive coming out of that break. Let's see what they do with the ball this time.
Again, these two teams have never met before in football as Kraus goes under center and gives it up the middle. It's Hang again. Hang spinning out of the tackle before being brought down just shy of the first. This offense now starting to put it together. This line starting to move some bodies. And they'll give them the first down.
You see that pin and pull working with that center. That center's blocking back on that 4-eye, 3 technique type guy, and you'll see the guard wrap around. That's making it tough. Plus you have action in the backfield, so really the discipline that Detroit Lakes needs right now is magnified.
Kraus back under center. Kraus going to give it up the middle. A big old gain. Probably only brought down by his own man and his Breadman.
You know things are going good when 73 Wells is hitting the 3rd level to get a block. He's trying to block a defensive back.
Had Breadman not tripped over his own man, possibly he might still be running. But that'll bring up another first down. Kraus, another give. It appears to be Hang before he's brought down. He's going to be sacking down in medium. Now they're starting to hit those chunk plays, those chunk runs.
Yep. And it's never a good sign when you see 77 Enhart making that tackle 5-6 yards downfield as a defensive tackle. So it's a good time right now for the quarterback. Get them together and tell them, guys, we got to stop this thing.
Have we hit the end of the quarter?
No, it looks like 59 seconds.
I believe the Lakers have called a timeout.
Which is good. Get the guys regrouped, get them together. It's gap control. We saw that in the first drive when they forced the punt. We saw the gap control. We saw the linebackers playing downhill. Don't get caught up in the backfield action. That's what he's going to tell them in that power T, because it's a triple option type offense. They can run 3 guys or potential ball carriers, and what are they doing? Dive, 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 dive. They're just running it and softening that belly.
Again, Coach Hefta for Detroit Lakes saying that he wanted his guys to be disciplined. They had to be disciplined, and they had to be sound technique and with their eyes if they wanted to stop this power T offense. Obviously, he's not liking what he's seeing.
Trust your keys, not the backfield action. You know, watch your keys.
59 seconds to play in the opening quarter. Had some fireworks already.
Second 5 for the Trojans from their 47.
This Trojan offense running back onto the field. Kraus. Under center. 3 backers behind him. And the give is up the middle for a short gain. And that'll bring up 3rd down.
Stopped a little bit of that bloodletting in the middle. Right now, 3rd down. Big stop right here. They are at midfield. Stop them. Put the decision in Coach Strand's hands whether he's going to go for it or punt the ball.
3rd and medium is how they scored their touchdown last time. Their first touchdown, Kraus gonna fake it. Kraus gonna run it himself. Kraus gonna get the first. Yelanimi in on the tackle alongside his teammate, Mr. Okeson. But the Trojans moving the sticks. And right now they look like they've got all the offensive momentum, all the game momentum as they look to take the lead with 20 seconds to play in the opening quarter.
They are clicking on all cylinders.
Kraus gonna give it up the middle. Hang with a stiff arm. It's gonna be brought down just shy of the first. We'll see if they give it to him. But the clock is gonna wind down to the end of the quarter with the Trojans driving as we are tied at 14. The crowd for the Trojans getting into it. You're watching the WDAY Extra Game of the Week. Welcome back to our WDAY Extra Game of the Week. The Barnesville Trojans driving, ball just shy of the 35-yard line of the Lakers as the offense comes out. It'll be 2nd down and short. The Trojans looking to take the lead. They have not led in this game, even though they did get the ball first as we open the 2nd quarter. We've already had a flurry of events, including a weather delay. We also had 4 touchdowns. Kraus gonna give. Hang gonna get the first. That'll move the chains. This Barnesville offense clicking and putting things together before the first quarter ended, and now look primed to take the lead.
And that's exactly what happens. You want to take away the dive on this deal. You want to get it in that quarterback's hands and turn his option into either a pitch or a keep. And that's what they've done now these last couple plays, but they're running it off tackle.
We've seen a gaggle of ball carriers keep the ball for the Trojans. We've seen Kraus run it. We've seen Hang, Roller, as Kraus goes under center. Going to hand it off to Bredman. We've said his name a couple of times, and Bredman nearly with another first.
And you said it best. They're picking up chunks. They're picking up 4 and 5 at a time, 4 and 5 at a time. Now it's putting them in 2nd down and say 3 or 4. That playbook is wide open. That defense has to be prepared for anything.
Of course, these teams meeting again for the first time ever. Got a good football game. Kraus gonna fake it, gonna keep it. Kraus breaking a couple tackles, carrying some Lakers with him as he is tackled just beyond the 20-yard line. Another first down pickup for this Trojans offense. They are getting mostly now 11, 12 yards a carry.
And they're leaning on them. Physicality is starting to set in. And right now, Detroit Lakes has to bow their neck and has to say no more. We got to shut it down.
Kraus gonna give it up the middle, but he's gonna get nowhere. Andrew Peterson brought down by a pair of Lakers.
Yeah, it looked like 77 Enhart played really solid gap control and saw the guy.
Jackie Enert starting to force some penetration there.
And they need to do that because they're getting knocked off the ball right now by Barnesville's offensive line.
The Trojans break the huddle. That power T, you see the running back stretch their arms out. Kraus gives it to Hang. Hang. It's Enert again. It's going to be 3rd down and short.
And that's a heck of a job by him because he's playing the 2-eye technique and he's getting double teamed every time. He's coming off those blocks. He just needs a little bit more of the cavalry to come and help him out.
It'll be 3rd down and 2 coming up for the Trojans as they are knocking on the goal line. Kraus going to keep it himself. And Kraus going to push the pile close to the 5, if not beyond. Noah Kraus taking over for Adam Tonsfeld. Tonsfeld was an all-section player a year ago. Again, Tonsfeld now at Concordia, playing for Coach Horan, catching passes at wide receiver. Kraus under center. Kraus gives to Hang. Hang in the end zone. That's his second score of the game, and the Trojans have the lead. 2-yard score for Mr. Cameron Hang.
And that's 2 drives in a row now. That offensive line of Barnesville, including those ends, call it what it is. They're in 32 personnel, and they are just not going to be denied. And they probably took it amongst themselves and said, guys, the first couple series isn't who we are. This is who we are. We're going to put it right down your throat. Stop us if you can.
And they're going to go for 2. Kraus going to throw it up for Zinzin, and Zinzin brings it down. The NDSU commit on the conversion, and now it's Barnesville with the 8-point lead. They once trailed by 8, and after back-to-back scores, now lead it by 8. Trojan fans loving it.
Those last 2 drives were very impressive by Barnesville. It's kind of what we expected at the beginning of the game. We didn't quite see it, but now we're seeing it. We're seeing them lean on it. We're seeing the physicality of a Coach Strand coach team. And right now, Detroit Lakes has to respond. They can't let this get into a 2-possession or more game.
Coach Strand wanted to keep it close going into the fourth quarter. His team now turning it around. They lead it. If you're the Lakers, you got to get something going offensively. They've had a couple third down stall.
16 unanswered points we've just seen after the lightning delay.
If the math does math, that would be correct.
If the math does math.
And after catching the 2-point conversion, Zinzin will tee it up to kick it off. And Solberg's content with letting it roll into the end zone. And the Lakers offense will take it over at their own 20. Detroit Lakes came out like a house on fire in their first drive, scoring a touchdown. But since then, have had one more score, but have also had to punt.
And we've seen the offense from Barnesville on fire, and we've seen that defense start to swarm like we know they can, like they have in the past.
Swears lining up under center. He's got a fullback and a running back behind him. The give goes to Carrier, and Carrier's got a lot of room to run. He's tripped up, but not before he gets past midfield. Mason Carrier on the big gainer. That's exactly what they needed.
That's just what I was thinking. That's exactly what the doctor ordered. You run that inside counter trap type play, run against the grain, take away from that swarming defense, and he got himself a lot of yards. Explosive play on the ground.
Coach Strand can't be excited with the number of explosive runs they've given up as Swears back under center. This time it's going to go to Ethan Carrier, but he's not going to get very far before he's brought down by Mr. Robidoux. I'm feeling myself. I'm in a groove now. Some of these guys flying around. We've had a lot of points so far.
A lot of points going on.
Back and forth.
Yep, we got a 30 front going on by Coach Strand here. He's running in that pseudo 3-5 defense and letting those linebackers fly and fill those gaps.
Swears calls the play. The huddle breaks. It'll be the shotgun look this time. Carrier lines up beside him. Swears passing. Swears throwing. Incomplete. Hang on the coverage. Kalina, the intended receiver. It'll be third down and long.
Made him get rid of that ball fast, brought 5, 4 down linemen, bring in 1 extra linebacker. A little bit high.
Logan Yeski on the pressure. We've said his name a couple times. He's getting after it. Third down and 9 for Detroit Lakes. Ball just past the 45. The stands are shaking. Play action. Gonna dump it off. Pass complete. But he's not gonna get enough for the first. It'll be fourth down. Hunter Korth unable to pick up enough yardage, and it'll be 4th down for the Lakers. We'll see what happens here.
And that was a good defensive stop. He came back with that 30 front, cocked his alley players on there, and there was just one too many defenders for him to break loose to get a first down.
Again, this Barnesville offense starting to roll, so maybe the Lakers roll the dice and go for it. The huddle breaks. And Swears is going to line up under center. They're going to go. The give goes to Carrier. Ethan Carrier brought down short of the first down sticks, and it's going to be a turnover on downs. Trojans take over.
Heck of a job. You got a 30 front going on there. It looks like there's running room, and those linebackers are scraping and coming in. And see green, go green. See ball, get ball.
Big stop for the Barnesville defense as the offense trots back on the field. Kraus gonna fake the give and keep around the edge. A flag flies, but Kraus running. Gonna be brought down at the 50, but not before he picks up a first. We'll check this flag.
You got a hold on the edge there. Probably gonna come back.
Yelanimi on the tackle. It will be a hold against the Trojans. It'll be first down again, but not before they have to play behind the sticks. Again, this Trojans offense getting things going. If you're just joining us, 16 unanswered points after this weather delay. Cameron Hang with a score, and John Roller with another. We are in the second quarter, 7:20 to play. Kraus gonna fake the give and pass. He had a man, and what a catch! What a catch! Mr. Iniger, how do you do? What a grab! That'll move the chains.
He had so much fun in that one, he wanted to catch it twice. But there you just saw how that opening, that long pass play set that up. You had 3 defensive guys trying to cover one guy, left that middle of the field wide open in the deep flats.
What a grab from Tate Iniger. That picks up the first. Kraus gonna hand it off to Hang. Hang busting up the middle. Trips up. The crowd goes, ooh. They thought he had it. That'll be shy of the first down.
Totally impressed with Coach Strand's offensive line. The guys at the point of attack are moving their guys out of the way. The guys away from the play are getting downfield to take anybody trying to come across to make that tackle.
It'll be second and short. That offensive line is working now. Kraus gives it up the middle. It's going to be a first down. That's going to be Andrew Peterson. So we are now under 6.5 to play. This Barnesville offense doing what it does best. Running the ball now.
Running the ball.
Had a little issue with that the first drive, but since then,
and running it between the tackles. You got to take away the dive in this power T. You got to take away the dive. You got to force him to get left-handed and go to outside.
Kraus going to give it. It's going to be another first down. Bredman again. It's pick your poison right now. Bredman, Hang, Roller, Anderson, or Mr. Peterson.
Kraus has got the easiest job because he's got the first option. He's given the give. He's not even going to a second or third option on each play.
Again, this Barnesville team, a history of success. Kraus going to give it on second and short. Hang almost losing it behind his back, but collects it. And that'll be good enough for a first down. A little basketball there. Hang going behind the back.
A little basketball, a little behind the back. He kind of lost some yards, gained some yards, but who was his lead blocker? Old number 4. Kraus gets right up in front of him. His quarterback is lead blocking for him.
This Trojan offense having absolutely little issues now moving the ball. As we have a timeout on the field called by the Lakers. That is their second timeout already of the first half. Coach Hefton wanted to talk about, maybe how this run defense is functioning.
Yeah, we kind of got a tale of pre-lightning delay, post-lightning delay, because Barnesville is coming out like we expected to see them at the beginning of the game. They were feeling their oats. They didn't really know what they were doing. They had to throw the ball to get an explosive play. But look at them now. They're just moving at will.
Again, folks, you cannot pay attention to this Barnesville record. 2 losses to their 3 wins, but those 2 losses by a combined 4 points, one of them to Osakis in a 52-50 game that was in overtime, and then their opening game against West Central Area, a close 14-12 loss in which they had 5 turnovers. So Coach Strand knowing that if they could cut down on those turnovers and fix a couple of things, that they would be just okay. And so far, 0 turnovers in this game, just the 1 punt. Since then, 3 consecutive touchdown drives.
First and 10 from the Trojans from the Laker 28-yard line.
Offense back on the field. Kraus under center. Gonna give it to Bredman. Bredman with a lot of room. Look at Zinzin blocking downfield. Bredman spins. Bredman down at the 5. Trojans moving the ball. Zinzin getting his body downfield, moving blocks.
Fantastic. And you got Detroit Lakes with 9 guys in the box. Nobody puts a hand on him until he gets past second level. I mean, you're bringing 9 guys in the box. All you got left are 2 more guys to bring down.
If you're Matt Ensign, the Bison staff, you have to like watching that block from Zinzin there. As Kraus gives to Hang. Hang looking for the end zone, but he's brought down just shy. Of course, Zinzin headed to NDSU to play tight end, following in the footsteps of someone he looks up to, even though he's a rival, former Holly player Ben Ellison.
And that's what it's all about at that school, effort. You know, you see effort from these kids on Friday nights in these smaller towns. You're going to see that effort on Saturdays in the Dome.
We've seen Zinzin catch a 2-point conversion from this similar area. But this time the handoff to Hang. Hang's going to be in for the score. Hang, his 3rd of the game. And Barnesville now up by 2 scores. 28-14 with under 4.5 to play. That drive started by a 4th down turnover. An incredible one-handed grab as they set up for 2. Kraus gonna pitch it. Hang gonna be brought down just short. Okeson saying, we'll keep it right here. So it is 28-14 with 4:24 to play after the failed 2-point conversion. But Cameron Hang with 3 scores in this first half. 2 on the ground, 1 in the air. And the Trojans,
they just flipped the switch. They flipped the switch, bring the physicality.
Absolutely.
Detroit Lakes right now cannot match the physicality and is really playing defensively. They're confused. Offensively, Barnesville's defense is flying to the football. They're not giving them any breathing room. So right now, half can't come fast enough for Coach Hefta.
And this is a 4A against a 2A matchup, but again, Coach Hefta was quick to acknowledge that you cannot pay attention to whether you're a 4A school or a 2A school. It doesn't matter. You have to play this game because he mentioned this pedigree and how strong of a team this Barnesville group is, and they're finding out firsthand if the Lakers want to get their first road win of the season, they're going to have to come back and do it.
Yeah, and we talked about how good they looked their first couple possessions with the mismatch offensive line, you know, making a couple 2-3 substitutions because of injured players. And right now, they're really, Barnesville has them on their heels.
Zinzin kicks it off. Solberg, a little fake to give, and he'll run, but he's going to be brought down to a stop. Rabadou, guess who, in on that tackle. Trojans weren't fooled by that.
No, didn't fool anybody.
Had a Trojan horse joke for that, but I couldn't remember which way it's supposed to go.
Well, you are a Troy graduate. You should have a Trojan horse.
I should understand. I should understand the Trojan horse.
Yes, you should.
I should, but I just don't. Lakers trying to figure out this Trojan horse as they line up in the offense. I formation look. Carrier at the fullback. He's going to get the carry. Mason Carrier carrying a couple of Trojans with him. Solid pickup of about 5 or 6 before he's finally brought down.
That was their best offensive output since 2-3 series ago. The offensive line moved some guys out of the way, and the running back refused to go down.
From their 33-yard line.
Now Detroit Lakes will get the second half kickoff, so this is an important drive for them. Not only to just score, but they don't want to give this ball back to Barnesville, who has 3 timeouts.
Yep, and get some confidence. At least if they're not going to score, move the ball and get some
confidence. Well, now Barnesville will have 2 timeouts after using one. But the point still stands. Detroit Lakes doesn't want to give this ball back to Barnesville. They've scored 4 straight times. Lakers need to either eat clock or get a score out of this drive.
And have something positive happen. They don't want to get a 3 and out. They want to move this ball.
Again, we mentioned the 4 straight scores. We mentioned the pre-delay, post-delay. We were in a delay due to lightning strikes for about 45 minutes there in the first quarter with about 5:13 left to play. Since we've come out of that delay, it's been all Barnesville. The offense clicking on all cylinders, the defense getting stops. Before that delay, looked like these teams were due to go back and forth.
They were going back and forth and almost a little bit of edge to Detroit Lakes. It looked like Detroit Lakes had Barnesville on their heels a little bit.
This, of course, Barnesville homecoming game, so it's very important to win on homecoming. These seniors know that. Swear's going to line up in the shotgun. Swear's going to roll right, looking downfield. Still looking, going to throw it. Pass is complete. It's going to be Ty Jones on the reception.
No,
they're going to call it incomplete, excuse me. They're going to say he did not control the ball. They're going to say he didn't catch it. But it'll be third down and 2.
Coach Strand mixing it up, coming out with the 3-5, single high post in the big side. Linebacker didn't carry that receiver that crossing route, and that's what made him wide open about mid-level, almost like a levels route without the third receiver.
Ball on the left hash. 3rd and 2. Swears under center. Swears gives it off. It's Mason Carrier. They're going to give him forward progress at the sticks. We'll see if that's good enough for a first down. Sort of lost him a little bit. It looked like he pinned ball backwards.
He did. That was a huge play. Depending on the measurement here.
They're going to measure. They're going to call it the first. They're going to call it the first. Barnesville fans are not thrilled with that call, but that'll move the chains, which is exactly what Detroit Lakes needed here.
They had to have that, absolutely. It didn't look good, but they got...
Barnesville fans, if they could challenge, I guarantee you they would call for the challenge.
Oh,
fumble, ball on the ground! Ball on the ground! Who has it? Who has it? Swears, they're going to call it Trojan ball! Out of the pile with it is Zinzin. Swears tried to give it off to Carrier. Carrier couldn't hold on. And it's Caden Zinzin coming up with the ball. It'll be Barnesville's ball in plus territory. Gut-wrenching if you ask the Lakers fans.
Yeah, Barnesville ball, short porch, and the momentum on Barnesville's side. I mean, these kids know that they can do it. There's such a huge change from before that lightning break.
And now the give, the double give. Hang breaking outside. Hang downfield. Hang brought down at about a 15. Not after a big game though. A little double give from flag on the play, but it looked like a little double give there.
And it might
from
be
Bredman to Hang.
Flag was downfield, could be a face mask, something like that. But again, Coach Strand, not a power T formation. Now he came out with a double wing, more of a cocked wing formation, really keeping that defense.
A little
Detroit
bit of a
Lakes.
curveball.
Oh, huge curveball because they're used to seeing one thing pounded at them the whole time.
Who else downfield blocking but your guy, Mr. Noah Kraus, the quarterback, getting downfield for his running backs.
That kid gives an effort. Right now I'm on him because he's acting like he wants to be a lineman.
We're going to have an unsportsmanlike conduct call after the play. It's going to be go against Barnesville, so that'll back them up. The play will count as a first down, but it'll be 1st and 10 from almost about where they just had the ball.
Looked like Hang, number 29, did something that the official didn't like.
Trojans lining up again. A little bit of that funky look. They're going to run it inside with Hang. Hang busting through. Hang breaking a tackle. Hang breaking another. And almost a third before he's finally brought down by Ty Jones. Hang getting that penalty yardage back and some.
And another one.
And we'll have another penalty. Hang breaking a handful of tackles.
He did. He got caught with his hand in the cookie jar and got the flag thrown on him. And then he comes right back and he says, you know what? I'm going to make up for it.
Looked like a little bit of a counter delay run there, getting out of that wing wing formation.
Give him a little more of a wing look versus that power T.
Oh, this one's going to go against the Lakers. That might be half the distance to the goal.
And again, you can still run the same plays out of it. You're just running the same play out of a different formation, and just to keep that defense on their heels.
It's a big penalty against the Lakers, who desperately need a stop going into the half. As we actually go under 3 minutes to play. Trojans huddle up. 3 backs. Back to the power T. Kraus goes, fakes the give, around the edge, tackled. That's Mason Carrier. Carrier said he's had enough. I'll make it second down.
When you see him line up in that power T and you people at home can see all 11 white jerseys in that shot, that's 11 guys in the box.
I know I'm excited because my voice is cracking now. Had a lot of touchdown calls tonight. Kraus back under center. And they're just content with letting the clock run down, it looks like.
It's going to milk everything
now
off
he'll
the
snap
plate
it.
back.
And he's going to give it to Hang. Hang looking for number 4. It's going to be brought down. It'll be third down and short. Hang already has 3 scores. Already 2 on the ground. Could he have a 4 touchdown first half? 3rd and 3. Coming up.
If Coach Strand could run all minute 22, minute 20 off the clock on this
he
drive,
would.
he would love it because that's a 3-possession lead going into halftime kicking off.
Trojans offense with hands on hips, just waiting. Kraus gives, Hang, there it is. That's number 4. A 3-yard score this time for Cameron Hang. 4 touchdowns in the first half. And Barnesville leads by 20 points, 34-14. What a first half for Cameron Hang.
And what an offensive line. They're coming off the ball. They're knocking the defensive lineman back. They're establishing the line of scrimmage at the defensive lineman's heels, and the defensive linemen are not shedding those blocks.
And the Trojans will line up to go for 2. But not after we have a timeout. Again, 1 minute and 4 seconds to play. Barnesville, 5 straight drives with a score. 4 straight after that delay. This offense finding its rhythm.
3 and out their first possession, and after that they've scored every time. And my memory serves me, it's been a long time since this game started.
Coach Strand has to love what he's seeing from his team. Not only are they competing, but they are winning their matchups. This offensive line moving bodies, that defense getting after it. Regardless of the weight and the size advantage that the Lakers have over the Trojans, that defense still getting after it. And this offense still getting after it.
I think you got to call it what it is. After the break, after that lightning break, Barnesville's dominating this game. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you don't want to say that, but it is what it is because we saw the first couple 3-4 possessions before the break, and it looked like a back and forth, like you said, and you kind of thought, well, kind of give maybe a little kudos to Detroit Lakes because they kind of seem to have the upper hand, force Barnesville into doing some things to get some explosive plays out of their character, but not after the break.
The Trojans will line up to go for 2. Looks like a wing formation. They're going to pass it. They're going to pass out of it. Kraus actually going to run. He pulled the ball down to run, but he's not going to get it, and it's going to be 34-14 with 1:04 to play.
With 1:04 seconds left to go in the first half.
A 20-point lead for Barnesville.
34, the Detroit Lakers 14.
The Lakers will get the ball to start the second half, but with one timeout remaining, are they content with going into the half, or will they try to push the ball downfield? Remains to be seen.
Depending on where they get to kick off, I think they have to do something positive. And if coach wants to do anything, he wants to at least convert a first down one time if he can. If he's totally not confident in his guys, he's going to want to just get into halftime, regroup them.
Again, high school, like college, after you get a first down, the clock does stop. It is prime 2-minute offense time. The Lakers need it. These two teams, again, meeting for the very first time, and the Trojans, so far, getting the best of Detroit Lakes.
I think if Barnesville pins them inside the 25, Coach Hefta will be just content to go in at halftime. If they can break something loose here and get that ball close, anywhere close to midfield, he might have the confidence to take a shot.
Trojans getting an 11th man on the field. You can play with 10, but it's not advised. Zinzin kicks it off. It's going to be Solberg. He'll run it out. Solberg down the sideline. Solberg with a crease. Solberg with a big gain. Almost to the 40-yard line before he's finally brought down. And now the Detroit Lakes offense will have 55 seconds to play with and about 60 yards to go.
And number 2, Dawson Gregg. First and 10 for the Lakers.
They'll huddle up.
First and 10 for the Lakers from their 38-yard line.
Swears under center, I formation. And the give goes to Solberg. Solberg breaks through, pushes one of his guys out of the way. A big gain from Solberg. But the clock's still running as he didn't get a first down. Again, Detroit Lakes with only one timeout left. They've kind of got to go fast. And they just realized it. Here they go. Rushing to the line. Swears. Under center. Gonna fake the handoff and pass. Swears looking downfield. He's got a man. It's Jones. Jones, pass complete. And that'll be a first down, and the clock will stop. Lakers pass midfield.
And that's exactly what Detroit Lakes wants. Now it puts them in a position to take a shot at that end zone. Coach Barnesville's back to 4 down linemen, 4-3, so giving them a little bit more green grass, and that was a heck of a play call to get that rollout pass going.
2 plays, and they're already near the 35-yard line of the Trojans. Lakers coming out. Looks like it'll be the shotgun. Mason Carrier, the one back to the right. Stacked look on each side. Swears rolling. Swears running, directing traffic downfield, throws it up. It's going to be short and out of bounds for an incomplete pass. It'll be second. Second and 10. 14 seconds to play.
That brings up second down and 10.
Rolling left, his body's all screwed up. He's got to straighten up to set his feet. Barnesville's defense did not, I think that was Zenzen out there on the edge, would not let him post up.
The Lakers need a score. Have not scored since before the delay. They scored last, and then we hit the delay. They have not scored since. Swears out of the gun. Swears corrals the pass downfield. He's got a man, but he didn't see it. It'll be third down. Bryn Marsh, the intended receiver.
I think Detroit Lakes got the look they were looking for. They put trips into the boundary, short side of the field, ran that vertical route, that seam route on the top end, trying to get a one-on-one because he had a single high post that was covering over the trip side, and the receiver just didn't see. It was a nice throwing ball. He just needed to run under it.
9 seconds now remain. As it's 3rd and 10. 3 receivers to the right. And Barnesville will call their final timeout of the half.
Came out in that same formation, trip set into the boundary. Coach Strand probably wants to talk it over and say, hey, guys, we got a single high post. We got a single high safety out here. We have to honor that vertical route to the wide side of the field.
A touchdown before half would be exactly what the Lakers need, as they could potentially put up 14 points and cut this down to a one-score game. If they are unable to, they will go into the half down by 20 points.
And puts a lot more on them to come out second half to try to get some points on the board, receiving that second half
This
kickoff.
Barnesville offense could just chew clock if they want to in the second half.
Now, we have seen a spark of life out of Detroit Lakes this series that we didn't see, a couple beforehand. So we'll see what happens here.
Mason Carrier, the back, and the gun with Swears. 1 receiver to the top, 3 to the right, to the bottom. Swears looking, downfield, throwing. Intercepted almost. Nearly picked off.
Same formation.
Owen Riddle.
Same formation, same route, trips into the boundary, ran that seam route down the middle. That was his second choice. You could see him look up top, looking to see if there was separation like he had the first time with his receiver to the wide side of the field. He decided to throw it over the middle, and what did Coach Strand do? He had a guy over the top, and where did he put that single high post? Put him more center of the field instead of centering the 3 trips receivers on that side. Smart move, great timeout.
Riddle almost had his second interception of the season. In and out of the hands. But we have 3 seconds remaining in the half. Both teams now out of timeouts. In just a moment, we'll have our Cass Clay halftime report. But before that, the Lakers looking to get on the board, head into the half with some positivity. It'll be 4th down and 10. Barnesville fans on their feet. Swears dumps it off. It's Jones. Hook and ladder. Almost. Ball bounces out of bounds. And that is how the half will end. Detroit Lakes going with some trickeration, but it doesn't pay off. It'll be 34-14 at the half. We'll take a short break, but when we come back, Coach Bakken and I will recap the first half. You're watching the Game of the Week on WDAY Extra. Welcome into the Cass Clay halftime report. Barnesville leading Detroit Lakes 34-14 in our Game of the Week. Coach Bakken has been really a tale of 2 delays, or 1 delay if you want to call it that.
Oh, yeah, Barnesville came out and played with their hair on fire. I mean, there was a tale of 2 cities. They were just going back and forth like 2 gladiators. Kind of thought maybe Detroit Lakes had the upper hand a couple times. Come out of that break, and it's been all Barnesville.
Cameron Hang with 4 touchdowns in that first half for the Trojan offense. 3 on the ground, 1 in the air. It's been all him. Other than that, Mr. John Roller with the other score. We'll take another break, and when we come back, we'll look at some scores from around the area. You're watching the WDAY Extra Game of the Week. Welcome in back into the Cass Clay halftime report. I'm Jamal Kennedy, and I'm joined by Derek Bakken. You're watching the Game of the Week. Coach Bakken, some scores from around our area. First thing that jumps out, we'll have one of these teams next week, Cheyenne, beating Fargo North tonight, 30-13.
Yeah, and Cheyenne's just on a roll. I mean, they're just hats off to Fargo North. I mean, they were ahead in that game in the first quarter. So that team's coming around. But Cheyenne, look out.
Mustangs stay undefeated, and they will match up with Bismarck Century. That'll be our Game of the Week next week. Zach Staten will have that call. A huge game. Obviously, of course, these teams have played in the last couple of state championship games. Before it, we went down to 11 AA. It was the 3A game. Also, another score, this one jumping out. Eric, our camera guy, just showing this. Elk River beating Moorhead tonight, 50-46. That ends Moorhead's 11-game winning streak.
Elk River, football town. Moorhead, obviously a football town. That had to be a heck of a battle, 4-point spread.
Yeah, Century, of course, Century taking care of Bismarck High tonight, 38-0. But that Moorhead Spuds team, that Elk River game was a big game for them because Elk River was the team that knocked them out of the playoffs a couple of years ago. That was a huge game. Moorhead at home tonight, unable to pull out the win as they fall at home.
But they still playoff bound. Coach Feeney's going to go in the locker room, tell them, guys, here's the measuring stick. We have to be 5 points better than this team. Right now we're 4 points worse. We have to be 5 points better. And it just puts more fuel to the fire for practice starting on Monday.
We'll take another break. When we come back, we'll get you set for the second half kickoff. You're watching the Cass Clay halftime report of the WDAY Extra Game of the Week. Welcome back into the Cass Clay halftime report. We're just over a minute before the teams return to the field. Coach Bakken joining me here on the WDAY Extra Game of the Week. Before we get into what the Lakers should look to do in the second half to get back into this, we are set for an all-East final in the state soccer tournament. Shanley will take on the number 1 seed Fargo Davies Eagles. Shanley knocking off Grand Forks Red River earlier today, 1-0. And then Davies beating West Fargo Cheyenne 2-1. The Eagles again remaining undefeated as those two teams will play for it all tomorrow. Also, we'll have the individuals in the singles and the doubles in the state tennis tournament in Grand Forks tomorrow as well. But now, Coach, back over to football.
Can I go to soccer for a second?
Go ahead.
Wasn't Minot High the number 1 ranked team in the state? Isn't that what high school sports is all about?
Yes.
Number 1 team gets beat out. I mean, I like soccer. It's football without linemen. So Coach Leach says.
Absolutely. The East team.
But I just think that's so
quarters.
neat because all of a sudden now it's an all-East game. It's high school sports. 1 team gets beat out. Everybody gets an opportunity. People play more. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's football, it's basketball, it's whatever it is. That's just neat. Heartbreaking for the Minot High team. But look how it changes the whole dynamics and gives these kids such a great experience.
Absolutely. The Eastern teams in the quarters on Thursday knocking out all the West teams and set us up for an all-East semis and eventually an all-East finals. But switching back over to football, the gridiron, the Lakers need a spark, and they need one big to open the second half.
They need to take this opening possession and get something out of it. They need to get some points. Right now, their best defense is their offense on the field. We talked about that the last several weeks. They need to move this football. They've really stuck to the run. You know, like you said, Coach told you he wanted to run the football, but he needs to open it up a little bit. There's just so much you can do, especially out of that I-back formation, and maybe we'll see a little more play-action pass. I'm sure his coaches talked to him, and he talked to the team at halftime. But this first series they have is going to be very important to see if they can get back in this football game.
And we thought that maybe the switching around of the offensive linemen wouldn't maybe affect them because of how they started. But maybe is that sort of starting to set in for them a little bit, playing out of position?
I don't know if playing out of position has. I'll tell you what's changed is the physicality that Barnesville decided to ramp up. Because I really thought Barnesville wasn't playing as physical as they're known for. We both knew coming in, looking at the points for, points against, that these are 2 stingy defenses, 2 grinded out offenses that we're not scared to get physical with you. But after that break, it was a tale of 2 cities. Barnesville just, like somebody flipped the switch, and they just said, we're not going to be denied. So that's really what Detroit Lakes has to counter now, and they can do that by moving that ball down the field and getting some positivity out of it.
Yeah, a quote from one of the Detroit Lakes players this week is, "We know we can be more physical than them." And right now, them being the Trojans, right now the Trojans looking like they saw that comment and took it to heart as they hold a 20-point advantage. As we mentioned, after that delay, Barnesville coming out with its hair on fire. So both teams are huddling up here, getting ready to kick off the second half. Detroit Lakes will get the ball. Bradley Swears, a dual threat with his arm and his legs, has been contained from doing either really in this game.
Absolutely, and they've really gone to the run. They got down by 2 possessions, and Detroit Lakes really stayed with the run. Again, with that I-back formation, with the formation that they're running, they can do some things with that where they can run play action out of it. They can give the give to the fullback. They can attack the edges. They really need to try to slow down that defense of Barnesville and get them thinking a little bit. And right now they're not thinking. They're playing downhill fast, and swarming to the football.
All right, and we have 15 seconds until the half kicks off. What'll it be? The Trojans can move to 4-2 with the win, or can the Lakers come back and pull off an upset on homecoming for this Barnesville team? Reed Hefta, the head coach of the Lakers, in his first year, he's been a part of this staff. This is his 9th year as a part of the staff, but this is his first year as the head coach. A lot of responsibilities, a lot of duties he mentioned he had to learn from a management standpoint. But when you go from being, sort of one of the guys, one of the coaches, maybe you just coaching defense or offense, to now you're the head man, how does that change?
Well, that changes dramatically. I mean, like you said, you wouldn't think in high school, we'd just call it the administrative part of it. That part is there. You're still doing your job. And the hardest part, even for guys like me or a lot of coaches, is giving that responsibility to a coordinator. You're giving it. You're still the head coach. You're still directing traffic, but you have to trust your coaches as much as you trust your players. So yeah, there's a learning curve there. I think we saw that the first couple series. We didn't. Detroit Lakes look tough. They look very good. Right now, they're just playing on their heels a little bit. We know they can do it because we saw it.
Can they fight back? We'll see. Zinzin sends it away, and we are underway here in the second half. It'll be Carrier, Ethan Carrier with the return. Carrier down the sideline before he's tackled and breaks a couple. Carrying a Trojan with him before he's brought down at the 45-yard line. A big gain to open this second half.
And that's exactly what they've done every time they've received the ball, returned right, and they've gotten decent yards on it. And like you said, now they're at the 45-yard line. They're in good territory right now. Now they're only 55 yards away from pay dirt. There's not one play that's going to make up this point differential. Let's be methodical. We've got 2 quarters of football to play.
They've had success running the ball, and they'll go from the shotgun to open the second half. Schweers takes it, hands it off to Solberg. Excuse me, that's Mason Carrier. And Carrier's brought down, but not before he picks up a gain of a 5 or 6.
Yep, that's going to put them ahead of schedule, exactly where they want to be. They're still running that same formation they ran before going into halftime with trips set into the boundary with that 10 personnel, but they gave the give.
It's going to be 2nd down and 4.
Smart on Coach Hefta's part to spread out that defense because they're flying to the football, so now he's running out of a trips formation.
And now he'll go under center. Sweers. Gonna give it. This time it is Solberg. And Solberg is down the sideline. Solberg's pushed out, but he has a first down. Hain gonna push him out of bounds. But Christian Solberg, the senior, gonna get the first.
And that's good. That was good blocking. Now he attacked the edge very, very well. And then you saw that little burst of speed once he got to the numbers to the sideline. There
is great respect for Christian Solberg among this Barnesville team. Coach Strand absolutely mentioning his name in the call here before the game. But Sweers gonna fake it and pass it, looking, gonna bring it down and run it himself. A big block, but Sweers gonna get close to a first down. He got a big block for one of his receivers. I couldn't tell who it was.
It was number 5, wasn't it?
It's Carrier, if so.
Yep.
Taking care of business.
That was a heck of a job. That was a levels route, flood route, call it what you will. Little bit of the route was run off by the second middle receiver, so it kind of got bottled up. Quarterback did the right job. Saw green grass, saw opening to get some positive yardage, and took it.
This is a good drive to open the half for the Lakers.
Very good. Number 1 for their confidence.
Swears to go back to the shotgun. Mason Carrier lines up to his right. Swears takes the snap, drops back to pass. It's going to be a flag thrown. Swears just throws it away. We'll check this flag. It's going to go against the Lakers.
Yeah, they were trying to set up the screen there. You saw 3 offensive linemen downfield. Heck of a job on the edge there. And I didn't catch the number. I think it was Zenzen.
Looked like Zenzen running with the back.
It was running with the back. So the screen was, perfect job. Great job by him.
Zenzen, for as good as he is on the offensive side of the ball, is also talented on the defensive side of the ball. 6'4".
Oh, they gave him a hold?
They're going to call holding.
But he did. He had offensive linemen running downfield, and he hadn't gotten rid of the ball yet. And as a coach, a defensive coach, you gotta love those. You gotta love offensive players with a defensive mentality, number one. But like you said, it's high school football, fantastic.
Zenzen, Yeski, and Rabadou, the three main characters on this Trojans defense. Swears looking to pass. He throws. He has an intended receiver. It's going to be incomplete. Going to be 2nd down and 22.
Yeah, you can see him still coming out in that spread type formation, that 3-by-1. And it's forcing Barnesville to play a 6-man box. So that's what let their running game be a little bit more open. But I'll tell you what they're doing is they're bringing heat. So they're bringing 4 or 5 every time on that 6-man box, and they're making that ball have to come out early.
It's 2nd down and long as the Lakers line up in the I formation. Carrier, the fullback. Solberg, the running back. The toss goes to Solberg. He's not going to get very far before he's wrapped up. Zenzen in on the tackle. It's going to be 3rd down.
No, what a heck of a play. 2nd and long.
Rabadou as well getting up off the pile.
And he's last one off the pile. But then now we come back with that 30 front, that 3-5 look. Okay, so now we're coming back with those linebackers streaking to the ball, almost like they knew that outside run was coming. And those guys are so good at just taking their run-throughs. We're seeing Barnesville's defensive linebackers take their run-throughs. They see that opening, they're running through to make that tackle.
Only a gain of 1 there. It'll be 3rd and 21. Swears gonna throw. Swears looking deep downfield. Still looking. Now he chunks it down to Carrier. Carrier's gonna pick up the first and more. Carrier's gonna have a touchdown. Mason Carrier.
We got a flag on the field.
Flag on the play, but Carrier looking for his 3rd score of the day.
That was a screen that Barnesville sniffed out again. That was a broken play. That was a screen. We had 15 yards downfield. I don't know what the flag's going to be, but they wanted to set up the screen. They wanted to slow down those linebackers.
Mason Carrier out of the backfield. I've got him listed as a backup quarterback, but he does more than that, obviously.
Just an athlete.
But it looks like this flag is going to be against the Lakers.
That's twice now. I'm just totally amazed. That defensive play was just fantastic. They sniffed out that screen twice. Legal man downfield.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a huge penalty.
But what a good job for him to ad-lib and find the open receiver.
Swears had about 20 years in that pocket.
Yep. To 51, just needed to have that number flipped around to a 15, and everything would have been good.
Let's see what they dial up. It's being called 4th down. That was a loss of down penalty. So 4th and 21. 4th and 26, excuse me. Swears drops back. Trojans bringing heat with Kraus. Swears launches, but it's going to be incomplete. Was looking for Ty Jones, and he overshot him. Noah Kraus coming on the heat there to force Swears out of the pocket. And the Trojans will take over on their own 46-yard line. Absolutely couldn't have that. Oh, and then they're going to. So that was 3rd down.
That was 3rd. Yeah,
that was 3rd. It wasn't a loss of down penalty. The scoreboard had it at 4th down.
The stick was at 4th down too.
Yeah. But this is now 4th down. Still not the way that you wanted your drive to go to open the half if you are the Lakers.
And they got to flip this field. They got to get that ball in. They got to pin Barnesville inside the 20 right now.
Yelanimi back to punt. Boots it away. Hang. Lets it bounce, and it'll get into the end zone for a touchback. Trojans take over at the 20-yard line. We'll see if this power T offense really kicks it into gear and starts chewing some clock. Can the Lakers get a stop? They haven't stopped him, and they haven't stopped him since the first quarter, since the first drive of the first quarter.
No, and I think Coach Strand's going to give him a big dose of physicality and a big dose of that power T, running it right at him and say, stop us. If you can stop us, we'll let you have the ball back. If you can't, we're the bully in the sandbox.
Kraus lines up under center. He's going to fake the give and keep it himself around the edge. He's going to be brought down. That's Gavin Smith on the tackle.
That was good to see, though. You're still seeing those white shirts flying to the football. You're still seeing playing as good a gap control as they can. When they get a little bit lazy or they get a little bit tired, that's when Barnesville's offensive linemen really start leaning on them. So
It's going to be a gain of 4 yards for Kraus.
On the play by the Lakers, number 50.
Somewhere in the second or third down, Detroit Lakes has to make something negative happen for Barnesville to put them in a chance to get this ball back.
2nd down and 6 is the call. Kraus entered this game with 265 yards rushing, averaging 5.2 yards a carry. He got 4 on that. Power T look, handoff goes to Hang, and Hang is free. Hang has got it first. The chains will move. Carrier saving that from being a larger gain.
And just making it look so easy because they're running that thing off tackle, that offensive tackle or offensive end, I guess you could call him. He's a second tackle. He's blocking down, and there's not a linebacker rock and rolling over the top. That linebacker's got to get that read from the inside. He sees that down block. He knows he's going to take his 4 technique or 5 technique with him. He's got to rock and roll over the top to at least make him check his feet for the cavalry to come.
Again, the Lakers are without 2 of their, their biggest linemen in this game. They play both ways. The Trojans just eating it up on the ground. Kraus is going to keep it around the edge. Kraus is going to run. There's a flag that's going to fly. And another flag will fly.
Horse collar, the last
as the official throws his hat. 2 flags. We'll check what they are. Could they both be against the Lakers? Maybe an illegal block of some sort or a blind side.
You probably got a hold on Barnesville. That's where that flag's at. But you definitely on the sideline, you've got a horse collar tackle.
It's going to be holding against the offense and a face mask against the defense. So those are offset, and we'll replay the down.
Yeah, that was about as ugly as of horse collar as you get, and it's just at the heat of the moment. I'm sure that player didn't try to do it, but very fortunate to come out of that with the offsetting penalties.
Again, Connor Zamzo out with a concussion, and Isaac Caribou tearing his ACL last week for the Lakers, so they have shuffled some offensive and defensive linemen around. Gavin Smith, who usually plays linebacker, is now on the line, I can tell. Kraus under center. Kraus going to give it up the middle. And that's going to get nowhere. It's going to be 2nd down.
That was a good stop by there because right now they handing off that give, and you're seeing some of them white shirts are chasing ghosts. They're chasing guys without the football. You've got 9 guys in the box, sometimes dropping the 10th guy down in there as that safety's creeping, and they got a single high post over the top. They got to protect those edges. They're forcing everything in the middle to bounce, but they got no help on the outside when that play bounces.
2nd and 8. Kraus back under center. Fumbles the ball, picks it up. There's a blow the play dead. They're going to call it a false start. They say someone was moving before the snap. Could have been a break for the Trojans.
That's what we talked about. Detroit Lakes has to make something negative happen. They got a negative play now on Barnesville. Now we have to capitalize on it. Okay, it's going to be 2nd and long. We cannot let them get this penalty yardage back plus.
The call is actually going to be illegal snap. So that'll make it 2nd and 13 here. Kraus tosses. Out to the right is Hang. Hang down the sideline. Hang with a 1st down. Hang moving the chains. He's having a night. 4 scores already. 4 scores for Mr. Hang.
You saw that blitz coming from Detroit Lakes. They blitzed that linebacker from that outside linebacker position right where that ball went off tackle. Left a void, nobody to fill the void. And they're just gashing them off tackle.
That was a gain of 15.
Yeah, and got the 1st down, exactly what they didn't want to have happen after a negative play.
Kraus gives up the middle. It's Hang again. Hang breaking a tackle. Hang busting through again, carrying a Laker with him before he picks up a 1st. He's got a head of steam, folks. Get out of the way because the Hang train's on the track.
That's pretty good. I can't beat that. But I'll tell you what, you give Barnesville an inch, they'll take a mile. How's that? That's old school. You can't do that. You can't let them off the hook. Denny Green said that. We knew what they were coming with, and we let them off the hook. Detroit Lakes knows what they're coming with, and they're just letting them off the hook. They needed a negative play. They got it, and then they let them off the hook.
Hang with back-to-back pickups of 10-plus yards. It's going to be 1st and 10. And then now the Trojan offense just eating clock. They'll snap it with a couple seconds left. Kraus is going to keep it. Kraus up the middle. Kraus bursts through. Almost another first. See what they mark it.
There's purple offensive linemen, second level, making blocks. You got a guard folding, blocking, wrapping around the center, making a block. You've got a lead blocker out of the backfield that's lead blocking for his quarterback. It takes 3, 4, 5 guys to make that tackle, and there's no white shirts there to do that.
We're in Minnesota. What's the offensive version of the Purple People Eaters? Because these linemen are moving some bodies.
They're the Barnesville Moving Company. I say it every week. Just insert name here. They're the Barnesville Moving Company. They're just moving people where they want to.
Kraus keeping it again, but not going to get very far. Not going to get far at all. He's tackled in the backfield. First time we said his name tonight, it's going to be Marcus Lyman on the stop.
And I tell you what, it's a negative play. They got negative yardage on it. It's 3rd down. 2 downs to get this 1st down. But right now, that group of white guys in that white shirts, they got to get together and say, we are going to stop these guys. We can't let them get this 1st down.
There's a huge 3rd down coming up. 3rd and 2. Ball at about the 30-yard line of the Lakers. Again, this Barnesville offense content with snapping the ball with just a few seconds left. Kraus gonna give up the middle, actually. It's Hang. And they have another first.
Nothing fancy, straight ahead blocking. You got the A back, or the B back, I should say, off the outside. He's handing it off. If he doesn't want to give that give, he keeps it, and he's still got his trailing back to the option. They haven't gone to that all night. They've been getting everything off tackle with that little bit of counteraction movement.
And now Andrew Peterson checks in to the backfield. Hang's still in there. He's a workhorse, isn't he?
Oh, they all are.
Again, Barnesville now just eating clock. They're up 20 points. Kraus gives to Hang again. Hang makes a move. He's going to be close to another 1st down.
You know, the first couple series we talked how gap control was so important and they were doing such a good job. What are we seeing right now? We're seeing those gaps getting wider, making it easier for those running backs to pick and choose where they're going to cut back against the grain and pick up that extra 2-3 yards.
I just think about that first drive of the game where the linebackers were flying down and fixing and filling some of those gaps, making tackles in the backfield. And now these Trojans are getting to the 2nd and 3rd levels.
And you called it discipline from Coach Hefta. Their eyes are getting in the backfield, and they're chasing ghosts.
Kraus gives to Hang again, but he's gang tackled. Looks like Solberg in there with haggle of Lakers. It'll be 3rd down.
You're getting like Zach now using those big words, haggle. I got to Google search that, but I think it means a lot.
A lot.
Because there was a lot of white shirts.
A
lot of white shirts, and that's what you want to see, but you need to see it on a consistent basis.
It'll be 3rd down and 5. Kraus checking his line, getting everybody set. Snaps. Gonna keep it himself around the edge. He's got the 1st down, it looks like. See if they give it to him. They'll call it 4th down. They'll say he didn't get it. It'll be 4th and very, very short.
Christian Solberg did his job from the defensive back position, forced him to back inside, just didn't have that linebacker to fill that void.
You mentioned 11 players in the box. Solberg is a safety. Yeah. He's having to come down and make these plays.
Well, and he was the edge player there, and he did his job, set the edge, forced that play to get inside. There was no help inside out.
The box is crammed with Lakers. Kraus gonna quarterback sneak it up the middle, and that'll be good enough for a first. Coach Strand points his hand forward, signaling the 1st down. And we are now almost at 2.5 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. This is the first drive of the 2nd half for Barnesville, and they have almost eaten up the entire quarter. The Lakers had a substantial drive that stalled, ended in a punt. Barnesville sent, moving the ball methodically down the field. All runs. We've only seen them throw the ball maybe twice tonight.
There hasn't been a need for them to do it. I mean, they're running the ball at will right now.
Kraus Snaps. Going to keep it himself. Looked like a miscommunication. He's brought down.
Taking care of the number 4, Noah Kraus.
Maybe a miscommunication there.
Yeah, his fullback didn't follow him to give that look, that handoff, that option, that dive option.
Jack Enert there on the tackle. Said his name a couple times tonight. Just got this in from the Perham Yellow Jackets. They defeated Osakis tonight, 29-28. That Osakis team, of course, beating Barnesville 52-50 a couple of weeks ago. Osakis was ranked in the state of Minnesota. Kraus gonna fake the give and pass it out. He's looking for Zinzin. Ball knocked away by Yelanimi. Great defensive play from Caden Yelanimi.
That was a great play because that was his guy from the get-go. He had him coming off the line of scrimmage. He did not let him get separation. That's a big guy, a big target. He can sit there and almost post up like a low post player in basketball. That was a heck of a job. And then you saw his hand get in there at the last second.
Yeah.
Heck of a coaching job to get him coached up to play defensive back.
Great play from Yelanimi there at the corner spot, at the other safety spot, excuse me. And now it'll be 3rd down and long. They'll call it 3rd and 9. This Barnesville offense. Coach Strand wants a timeout. He just called his first timeout of the second half. 1:27 to play in the quarter. Again, this has been a long half. Well, fairly short. It's felt like it's flown by, but each team only with one possession.
One possession, and the dominant team has been the team in purple. But right now we've got 3rd down and 10, and that's what Coach Hefter's going to tell them. So guys, this is going to be huge. If we got 2 downs to keep them out of the end zone. It's not going to put points on the board for us, but you know what? It's going to tell us who we are. Right now we got to dig deep, and we got to find out who we are. It's gut check time.
Don't know who the field goal kicker is for the Trojans. Pre-game, Zinzin looked like he was doing a little bit of kicking from kicking off, and maybe a little bit of field goal kicking. So if they are indeed stopped here, we'll see if they choose to go for it, if they want to be team 3 points in a 34-14 game.
My choice on the deal would be I got 2 downs to make a 1st down. If I can't do that the way we've been moving the ball all night, guess what? I'm pretty doggone proud of my defense.
Yeah,
we're pinning them deep anyway, so what the heck?
Maybe we should call that defensive line the purple people eaters.
There you go.
The way that they've bounced back here. Kraus checking his backs behind him. Under center. Snaps. Gives to Brady.
Reverse.
Oh, reverse. It's Hang around the edge. Hang bowls over a receiver. Ball popped out but went out of bounds. Hang lowering the shoulder on Yelanimi. And that's going to be close to a first. It'll be 4th and short, they'll call it. They ran a similar play in the first half. A similar play where Bredman handed the ball off to Hang. It didn't work quite as well as this one did.
Well, they had the wide side of the field to work with, and that was a heck of a job. And then now, how demoralizing is that? You get down there almost. You can pick up a 1st down with less than 2 yards to go to pay dirt.
It'll be 4th down and 1 from about the 3. This Trojans offense hasn't been stopped since the first quarter. Absolutely eating up yards on the ground. The Detroit Lakes defense looking to get a big stop. Right now, the game clock and the time of possession is not working in their favor. They need scores, and they need them quickly. Most importantly, they need a stop before they can get that.
Right, and that's going to be the most important thing on Coach's mind is right now, let's get a stop. Let's stop the bloodletting. Let's get a stop and get some type of momentum back.
Coach Strand with a couple words there for his team before they break out. Here come the Trojans back on the field. 4th down and 1. Kraus, of course, lining up under center, that power T formation. Roller, Bredman, Hang, the running backs. Hang goes in motion. Quarterback sneak up the middle. Kraus falls forward. Looks like he'll have the first, but he won't have the touchdown. Again, they could afford to pick up a first without a touchdown. So it'll be 1st down and goal from about the 2 or the 1. It'll be the 2.
First and goal for the Trojans from the 1-yard line.
If you're Hank, you're thinking, maybe there's a 5th touchdown in my future tonight. Kraus.
Or if you're number 4, you want to just run the same play again, coach. Run it again.
Play clock at 16, 15. They're just letting it go down. 45 seconds left in the quarter. They're not even set. And now they'll set. Kraus. Gonna give it out to Bredman. No, up the middle. I was looking at the field and not the screen. That's gonna be a touchdown for Andrew Peterson. Peterson punches it up the gut from 2 yards out. And Barnesville with 40 points on the board. They're running away with it.
Yeah, they're imposing their will offensively, defensively. Like I said, ever since that lightning break, they've come out and it's like somebody flipped the switch on them. They have all the confidence in the world. It doesn't matter this team plays two classes higher than them.
They're going to go for 2, but not before we check this flag. It'll be encroachment.
Oh.
Hang was going to go in motion. They had a Laker jump.
Outside on the Lakers.
Again, Barnesville at one point trailed by 8 points and now lead by a lot more than 8. They line up to go for 2. Power T look. Kraus. Hand goes in motion. Kraus gives it. Peterson stretches across, but I don't know if he got it. They'll say no. They'll say no, so it'll be 40-14. That'll be the score. Actually, they'll say no, it's good. They'll say Peterson fumbled and the ball was recovered. Travis Affield. They'll say Affield recovered a fumble in the end zone, and that'll be the 2-point conversion. So it'll be 42-14. A 28-point lead with 32 seconds left.
Like you said earlier, they were down by 8, and they didn't look. I mean, they didn't look good being down by 8. You know, they had an explosive play, and all of a sudden, they've just turned the tide on this Detroit Lakes team.
Huge turn of events tonight after that delay.
Affield, it doesn't get any better than that for a lineman, does it?
You get to whether it's a 2-point score or a 6-point score, they all count the same, huh?
He contributed. He put points on the board, and that's not in his repertoire. As a lineman, you're not supposed to be able to do that, and he did it. He just walked off the field like, hey, did my job.
He just held the ball up like, what do you mean we didn't get that conversion? I got the ball right here in the end zone. Barnesville absolutely doing whatever they want tonight. Detroit Lakes had success on their first 2 drives, but since then it's been all downhill for them, and it's been all uphill.
Yep. Just to play on your words, ever since those first 2 drives, Barnesville has been playing downhill, has been dictating what Detroit Lakes can do offensively. And like you said, that makes them play uphill. Barnesville's done a great job making Detroit Lakes play left-handed.
Zenzen sends the kick down. Ball just at the 15, outside. Looked like we had a crease down the sideline.
Zenzen's kick is returned by the Lakers, number 41, Grady Kircher.
And the Lakers will take over just shy of the 40 at about the 38.
Return man did a good job. You let that ball bounce on the ground like that, you count to 1,000, 1,002. You better just get vertical and get as many positive yards as you can, because nothing's going to be set up the way you drew it up.
Again, the Lakers, without a win on the road this year, Coach Hefton mentioned, he said, if we want to be competitive and if we want to get to where we want to go, we have to win in environments like the one we'll be playing in on Friday, obviously meaning tonight against Barnesville. They started out strong, but since then, looking to find answers. Swears gives the handoff to Solberg, and Solberg's brought down, and the flag throws. Riddle coming down from his safety spot to make this tackle.
Yeah, out of the gun, you're going to run that delayed draw on there, and that was good. Lets them pick and choose because they're getting such good penetration by the defensive line of Barnesville. Just tackled them a little high for high school sports.
4 yards brings up 2nd and 6 for the Lakers. Flag on the play.
That fan in the stands was right. He did grab him by the shoulder pads, but a little high on the shoulder pads.
And that'll be 15 yards and an automatic first.
Personal foul on the Trojans.
Every now and then, or excuse me, for the most part, been a mostly clean game without penalties. We've seen a couple here pile up, but
these
been
are
a mostly clean game.
Yeah, these aren't flagrant. They're not trying to do this. They're just, it's the heat of the moment. You just grab and cloth.
Swears rolling, Swears looking, Swears firing. He's got Jones complete for the first. Ty Jones will have the first down. Swears with a strong throw there. And that'll bring us to the end of the third when the chains reset.
And tell you what, very fortunate there. They still had a couple guys downfield there. I don't know what they were trying to do, throwing that levels route, that mid route, but they did have a couple of 50 numbers downfield. So got fortunate, moved the chains.
That'll bring us to the end of the third quarter. The Barnesville Trojans 42, Detroit Lakes 14. You're watching the game of the week on WDAY Extra. Welcome back into the WDAY Extra game of the week. The Barnesville Trojans 12 minutes from moving on to 4-2 on the season. The Detroit Lakers trying to mount an incredible comeback. Ball going to be on the 30-yard line of the Trojans as Bradley Swears and the Lakers come out in the shotgun. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the top. Swears going to run the option. Swears going to keep the option, and he's going to be tackled. First met by number 75. That's Mr. Affield. He had the 2-point conversion. Now he's got the tackle.
And the pitch was there. The pitch was there. It just shows you they don't run the option a lot. You either got to run it or not run it. But he give him kudos. He took it upon himself to gain a couple of yards on his own.
And for the North Dakota hockey fans tuning in tonight, North Dakota 1-0 on the season. They defeat Niagara tonight, 6-2 the final there. Brad Berry and his squad looking to make a run to the Frozen Four. Swears gonna give this time. Ethan Carrier brought down. Mr. Robidoux in for the tackle, along with Mr. Affield.
Tackle on the play by number 75, Travis Affield.
It'll be third down and long. Third down and long, third down and medium here for the Lakers.
Barnesville kids are so fired up right now. They're just.
We're talking about two teams, or two schools rather, one with an enrollment of about 250 versus a school with about 850.
Fumble.
Fumble on the play. Carrier couldn't get back on it, and Robidoux looks like he recovered, and he did. And it'll be the Trojans' ball. Second time that Carrier's had issues. It'll be Yeski coming off the pile with it. Second time Carrier's had issues tonight with that. And this Barnesville crowd pumped. It'll be first down and 10 from the 25. Second lost fumble on the game for Mason Carrier,
And like Coach Strand said earlier, when they put the ball on the ground 5 times or had 5 turnovers, you can't afford to give the other team possessions, and Detroit Lakes cannot afford to give Barnesville extra possessions.
You saw how potent that offense was last drive, just eating clock. Krause gives up the middle. That's Hang again. But that Barnesville offense, very potent at eating clock. This drive could go down to under 5 minutes before the Lakers even get the ball back.
29-yard line.
It'll be second down and 7. Power T look. Bredman, Peterson, Hang in the backfield. Iniger, Zinzen at the tight end spots. And now the line sets. Krause gonna give to Hang. Hang gets free. Hang up the middle. Almost another first. And it will be a first.
Tackle on the play by Lakers number 7. First down, Trojans.
What a night for Cameron Hang. 4 touchdowns.
Number 7, Ethan Carrier, number
And he has to be well over 100 yards rushing.
10 for the Trojans.
You come up there and you got that 2 tight end look on the line of scrimmage. You got 8 running lanes, and you got 8 running lanes in that last play. They had 7 guys in the box, so you're already 1 short. And there's always a bubble on defense. To cure that, you have to fly to the football, and that's, you know, the score's dictating a little bit of that. These are young kids, but right now they got to play for the guy next to him for the next 15
Kraus
minutes.
gives up the middle, and it's going to be a big old run from Mr. Roller. Roller breaks free. Roller down the middle of the field. Brought down just past the 40, and a flag flies. Maybe a face mask.
Face mask or horse collar again. You did get him a little.
Rolling on down the field. And he's pumped. And he should be a big gain.
"26-yard pickup for number 20.
26 yards for Mr. Roller. And then they'll tack on an extra 15 after the face mask.
First and 10 for the Trojans from the Lakers 22-yard line.
Now approaching 9 minutes to play. And that offense, again, content to just watch this clock get under 10 seconds before they snap the ball. And now they set. Kraus gonna give it to Hang. Hang's got a lot of green in front of him. Cuts up field. Hang gonna get towards the end zone. Is he in? Yes, he is! Cameron Hang, count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 scores for Mr. Hang tonight. And the Trojans lead 48-14.
Robideau pulled from his guard position, came around and laid a devastating block on the edge to spring that touchdown. Not only did he do it on defense,
He's doing it on offense.
Oh my gosh, I mean, he came around.
He's been there since he was a 13-year-old. Since he was in 8th grade, starting on championship teams. Robideau doing it all. Springing Mr. Hang free. Doing it all. Hang train. And they will set up for the extra point. Kick is up. And it's good. Barnesville, 49. Detroit Lakes, 14. What a game tonight in Barnesville. Homecoming. A game these seniors will never forget. And there's only 7 of them.
Yeah, other than the first possession where they were forced to punt, has Barnesville really done anything wrong tonight? They've been clicking on all cylinders. They've been imposing their will on the opposing team. Offensively, defensively, they've really played a heck of a game that didn't start out looking like they were capable of doing at the beginning of the game.
Detroit Lakes. They'll go next week and take on Staples Motley. Or excuse me, Park Rapids area. They'll play Park Rapids area next week. They'll need to flush this game down their system quick.
They're going to need to flush this, turn the page, and get healthy.
Mr. Zamzo, who's usually the starting left tackle, out of this game with a concussion. Maybe they can get him back next week. Slide Mr. Okeson back into his normal left guard spot. But for right now, maybe we'll start to get a look at some of these younger players. This game seemingly out of hand.
Kicking off for the Trojans. Number 89, Isaac Mano.
We've set for the kickoff. Ball on the tee. And there it goes. Down the sideline, up the field, past the 30. And the Lakers will take over at about the 31. Breck Winter on the return.
You know, it just goes to show how efficient Barnesville's offense is running right now is that Detroit Lakes gave up 72 points through the first 5 games. You know, they're on track to give up over half of that right now. So that just tells you very efficient, doing things right. And it tells you that Detroit Lakes has a defense that is capable of stopping people, but right now they've just run into that Barnesville machine.
And, of course, Detroit Lakes giving up most of those points that you just mentioned against Perham in that game a couple weeks ago. Swears drops back to pass, looking, going to throw it. He's got a man. It's going to be short of the first, but it's Kalina on the reception.
The number 3, Chuck Kalina, is complete.
It's going to be second and short.
Number 3, Aaron Baker.
That was a good play call. Gets his guys in a positive position. You're going to run a clear-out route, and you're going to run a slant.
Now the Lakers going to go no huddle. Swears looking left, fires left. Solberg's on the reception. He's going to not get to the first. Not going to get to the first. 4, 5, maybe 6 Trojans there. Half the defense. To be third down.
You got all the linebackers getting there, but guess who? What? You got 75 Affield there.
Affield doing work tonight.
You got a defensive lineman that's flying to the football. I think he's a little excited.
7.5 minutes away from a homecoming win are the Trojans. As Swears gives off to Carrier up the middle. He's got the first.
Lakers carry by number 5, Mason Carrier.
That'll move the chains. And that'll stop the clock. 7.5 to play. Maybe now Detroit Lakes can get some positivity going into that next week game against Park Rapids.
Yeah, there's no 35-point score, the way they can get that. But what they're doing now is they're still fighting and grasping for every inch and still running the ball up the middle. They haven't quit, and you got to give them credit for that.
This is indeed a young team. They filled a lot of sophomores. But Coach Heft is saying with the games that they played in this year, they've matured a lot. Swears takes the snap, looking, downfield, fires, and intercepted. That's Riddle this time. It is picked off. Riddle! Solving Mr. Swears, his second of the year. Owen Riddle. And the Trojans having it all tonight. Swears was looking over the middle. Mr. Riddle was looking at him. And Mr. Riddle flying in for the pick.
Interception and return of 17 yards for number 9, Owen Riddle.
17-yard return on that pick. And now the offense back on the field for Barnesville. Fumbled, actually. And Kraus just falls on it.
Recovered by the quarterback, number 4, Noah Kraus.
Going to be second down and long. Maybe one of the only negative plays we've seen from them this half, or since the first drive, actually.
Yeah, Coach Strand's probably not super happy about that, but even probably more so is that the clock stopped. Oh, it's still running. So
it's still running. He fell on the ball.
There you go.
So we'll tick towards 6.5. Coach Strand just coming into this game said he just wanted to see his guys compete, and they're competing all right.
Oh, boy. They look
good.
good.
Toss out to Hang. Hang's got a head of steam. Hang's down the left side. Hang's out of bounds, but he's got a big first. Cameron Hang. I'm going to say it one more time. The Hang train.
we got some laundry on the field. Probably going to come back with another hold.
The clock is still running. It looks like to me.
We got a 35-point game, so we got to
come back. Clock. Okay, running clock. There we go. That explains it.
Fourth quarter.
It'll be a holding call.
Yep. There's your that's another negative play. But you know what? Clock's running. They got the ball.
And it looks like some of the starters will check out now. Kraus over to the bench. Hang over to the bench. Zenzen over to the bench. Coach Strand giving his players a breather. After all they did was score 7 straight possessions. And now the new quarterback is Riddle. Now he's running the power T. He gives up the middle. Short pickup. That's going to be Dawson Gregg.
Riddle runs a lot of those drills in practice. You see him reverse pivot in the bucket, and he takes that ball and puts it right up inside. And if he wants to pull it back out of that A-back, he can. That was textbook. Young guy coming off the bench, and you can just tell he's done drill after drill after drill.
Again, these teams meeting for the very first time tonight, and Barnesville getting the best of Detroit Lakes. It looks like they'll improve to 4-2 unless time stops. Riddle going to keep it himself. Riddle down the sideline. A flag flies. But now before Riddle gets back to the original line of scrimmage, we'll check the flag. Riddle on the bootleg.
In that vicinity of holding again.
And it looks like it will come back. And more of these players checking out. Here comes Robidoux. He's out of the game now. Justin Kruger, the center, he's out of the game now. So now we've got the backups in. Mr. Affield, I can see, still on the field for the Trojans.
Now's the time when you're one of those young guys grinding out in practice. You're up by your position coach. You're tugging on Superman's cape. Coach, don't forget me. Don't forget me.
Everybody wants to play.
Everybody wants to get in. It's homecoming. Everybody wants to just
get a piece of the win.
Yep, just get her foot on the playing field.
Riddle checking his lineman. Riddle gets the snap. Feeds up the middle. Brought down just shy of the midfield line will be Connor Lakes.
By number 40, Connor
Lokes, excuse me.
Put Owen Riddle in. I'm just kind of haven't said much. I've just been watching. He is so fun to watch. Here's a backup quarterback, a guy that running back, defensive back, but he's so technically sound. You could just see how coach practices, how they run their drills all week long before the game day. You saw it from their starters, and you're seeing it now. It's just a joy to watch them.
7 possessions between what is now about to happen. This will be the first punt since the opening possession of the game for the Trojans. And it comes with about 2 minutes to play in the game. Lefty boot underway. Ball bounces. And it'll be brought down at about the 32-yard line.
Peterson's punt is down by the Trojans, number 8, Aiden Houck.
Pretty good night when you could say haven't punted since the opening possession of the game.
Absolutely, and I bet you Aiden Houck's eyes got pretty big. There's a sophomore out there. He sees that ball bounce, and he says, I'm going to grab that thing. I'm going to down it right here and let the defense
make
come
a
out.
Play.
Oh, yeah, what a heck of a deal. And that was a good job by him for a sophomore.
Looks like the Lakers will also have a new quarterback here. It'll be Reese Borgman. So Bradley Swear's night is done. The Lakers will get ready for Park Rapids area next week. Barnesville will get ready for Staples Motley next week with 2:14 to play. Borgman hands it off. There's a tackle in the backfield. Looks like Mr. Affield. It's Mr. Affield. First guy there. And we're now under 2 minutes to play.
Running the ball for the Lakers, number 23, Noah Larson.
For these second half possessions, Mr. Affield's been like a hot knife through butter. He's been getting penetration in line. He's been redirecting running backs.
Said his name a lot.
He's played a whale of a game this second half. For the few times that he's been on defense, because they've been moving the ball down the field scoring.
And just after this, after the clock strikes 000, we will come back and wrap this thing up before we talk about the upcoming game of the week next week. A huge one between Cheyenne and Century back in North Dakota. Toss. Cutting up field, but being brought down is Kirchner.
Ball kept by the quarterback, number 15, Reese Borgman.
Kirchner showing a little bit of cut, a little bit of speed.
And number 54, Johnny Robidoux.
And we've approached a minute to play in this game.
3rd and 11 for the Lakers.
Barnesville, 49. Detroit Lakes, 14. And the student section now starting the chant, I believe that we can win. made famous by the U.S. women's national soccer team some ages ago. Handoff back to Kirchner. Kirchner with a burst of speed up the sideline. He's going to pick up the first. Big burst, big gain.
Grady Kirchner. First down, Lakers.
That'll be first down. Way to end your night on a high note.
Yep, and like you said it best, we're going to get on the bus. Coach is going to tell them, hey, we're going to watch film, the good, bad, the ugly, then we're going to flush it, and we're going to prepare for next week because you don't want to make a loss create 2 losses.
Again, this game doesn't count towards any sort of conference record or section record. It's just your overall. As we are going to wrap it up. The Trojans win on homecoming. Barnesville, 49. Detroit Lakes, 14. Fireworks setting off in the background. You're watching the WDAY Extra Game of the Week. When we come back, we'll wrap things up from Barnesville High School. Welcome back to the WDAY Extra Game of the Week. You're looking at the Barnesville Trojans, who just celebrated a 49-14 win over Detroit Lakes to move to 4-2 on the season. Coach, we talked a lot about this game, the first ever meeting. This Barnesville team, they just wanted to compete and come out and have a strong showing. They ended up winning this game.
Going away. I mean, it's game of the week. There's fireworks. We got Jamal in the house. Hang train going on.
Voice cracked and all.
You're getting me excited about that. I mean, I know those fireworks weren't for me, but this, you said it right. This Barnesville team, somebody flipped the switch during that delay we had for Lightning. They came out. They imposed their will. Definitely what we thought we'd see from a Coach Strand coach team. Bully in the sandbox, impose your will, make that defense play left-handed, make that offense play left-handed, and the scoreboard reflected that.
A big change in momentum, or whatever you want to call it, after we exited that delay. We thought we were going to be set for a back-and-forth affair, and Barnesville, after that delay in the first quarter, just came out and just really just put their nose to the ground.
I don't want to be negative, Nelly, but I was a little disappointed, and I think if you go back to the first few minutes we were on the air, when it forced Barnesville to punt, I was like, boy, this doesn't look like a Coach Strand team. This doesn't look like the Barnesville teams that we've seen in the past. All of a sudden, that break, he gets them down here in the end zone, and you're thinking, we talked about it coming out, said, I'd rather start on offense because now we can dictate, and dictate they did, and they didn't let up. They put their foot on the gas, and they didn't let it up till it was 0-0s.
Cameron Hang, the star tonight for Barnesville. 5 touchdowns, 4 on the ground, 1 in the air for the Trojans as they walk off winners on homecoming. But looking ahead to what we have coming up next week, Coach, because you can't overlook this. You can't talk enough about it. You're going to be there. You're going to see this. Cheyenne, undefeated, taking on an undefeated Century team, a rematch of last year's 3A state championship.
Rematch of 3A. We got Coach Jeremy Newton over at Cheyenne. Great coach. We got Coach Wingenbach, legend in North Dakota. Dickinson State guy. I'll put a plug in for him. And both disciplined, well-oiled machines. Who's going to make the mistake? Where's the crease going to be? Who's going to get an advantage on it? That's how good a game. I mean, now it's going to probably be a blowout, but I mean, that game is just going to be fantastic because they're 2 well-coached teams, both very disciplined teams with good players.
I can't wait to watch it. I can't wait to tune in and see the highlights after you'll have that call with Zach Staten. But for the time being, folks, we'll sign you off. Thanks to Coach Bakken and everyone here, our camera guys, our people behind the scenes for making this happen. Thank you for tuning in to the WDAY Extra Game of the Week. Have a good weekend, everyone. Be safe.